Mission 3 is now live for Xenothreat, or Phase 3 if you prefer. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to my long-term subscribers. There is a few issues with this, but I want to start with the headlines. Xenothreat Incursion is here. It is not a FPS in any way, shape, or form. You do not have to hop out of your ship in any way, shape, or form. And you can solo run it because it's an invite to the entire server. Don't forget other players can also attack you, though, especially if you accidentally turn red. And if you're not in a party, you won't have anyone to back you up. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Most of these are happening inside asteroid belts, so watch your speed coming into them. But that's if that's even a problem for you. What we're finding is that some of these incursions are planet-specific, and then another planet-specific. And they're across the entire system of Stanton. So that means that in this case, for example, the footage you're seeing, I landed to handle an incursion, and literally that incursion changed yet again while I was still in Quantum, where my party members were strewn about trying to catch up. Some people had faster Quantums, other people did not. So if you're getting your Hammerhead crew or your Carrot crew together and you're excited, be sure to pack a heavy, high-speed Quantum drive. Be sure to upgrade it. Endurance does not matter. It's about speed here. If you don't get on grid and start getting shots off, you don't usually get credit. Sometimes people have landed and said they got credit. Other times, because they did not get damage on a high value target, it doesn't count. Now, you don't have to make the kill, but that certainly doesn't hurt. Also, be mindful that different size ships are a good idea. In this case, yes, I'm using an Origin ship that's a 600i Explorer Edition. And the reason is because it's packing 3 M7As and a walloping number of size 3 missiles. And it's got a large shield buffer that you can simply spin the ship if you start taking too much damage. And remember, there is up to 4 hammerheads that I saw. There could be more. But with this Xenothreat incursion, the risk is larger. It is not an Idris firing a railgun risk, but the risk is going up on these missions. You can see the scale going up and up and up. And I want to make another mention that the missions, phases, weeks, whatever you want to call them, are not over yet. You absolutely have not missed out. So if you're just doing this to get your F7A MK2 token, you can absolutely get that without worrying about some type of problem of, oh, I missed something. You can play catch up at any point, including these missions. You can play catch up into the next cycle. You can see those beautiful energy-based M7As doing what M7As do, which is a large amount of sustainable damage because they don't have to be reloaded, as in like have to go land somewhere and get more ammunition on board. Now, this is kind of my finest hours, so to speak, with the 600i Explorer in this mission, and I did break out quite a lot of size 3s, I'll admit it, but and those do have to be reloaded, to be fair. But I managed to be on grid early in the fight. I may have even been the first player ship there. When I got there, they spawned behind me. So the beacon was like encouraging me to go in deep into the asteroid belt. And then all of the little icons and the locking was all happening behind me. And I was just like, okay, let's do this. So I broke out the size 3s. I broke out my weapon systems. I stayed as the brick I needed to be because that's what my party and the server needed me to be at that moment, is kind of hold the enemy there, take the damage, and take the fight to those hammerheads. You know, it's not the finest damage. It's not the most performing ship. Like, it's not going to be doing barrel rolls anytime soon in Atmo or something. But the ship can put out a reasonable amount of DPS, or alpha, I really should say. And it has that brick of shields that it enjoys. It can absolutely tank these things for enough time to get everybody on grid, and also actually kill the hammerheads, especially because they're NPC hammerheads. So if I have advice, remember to bring a faster Quantum drive. Remember to pack your patience. You will eventually get lucky in the sense of you go out to one incursion, you might miss it. The next incursion is right afterwards, and that is what it is. but they're right near each other. They're still within the same planetary area. So if you're at Hurston and you're on one moon and then you go to the other moon, for example, is just to keep it simple. And that's one of the things that we saw. Anecdotally, Hurston seems to be very popular with these missions, particularly, and moon-wise, the specific moons, Yella. Yella seems to be very popular with these, but that could just be that we got lucky. Also, if you can't get them anymore, you're done. So what's happening is the mission is global. You do not have to be in a party to accept it. You absolutely can all run it separately if you wanted to, not even in a party, and just show up. And the global aspect of this mission encourages behavior that is competitive in the sense of getting there, getting on the HVTs, and getting out of Dodge quickly. Beware that if you accidentally shoot players, you will turn red. They may attack you, especially if they're in a party. Keep your global chat up when possible. When you say, for example, these shots, I'm trying to make them cinematic a little bit, so I keep turning off my global. But immediately after this and before this, I have my global on, and there's people in my party that are responding to global as well and noting if there's something there. And so we're talking on voice back and forth and global and party. So with these type of events, it's a good idea to have at least some level of mitigation, even if you're playing solo, because you may miss something valuable like, hey, Gladius, back off, or something, giving you a warning that there is a party about to attack you, because they may not lock you until they're ready to attack. So just some thoughts I had. The HVTs tend to be here. Suggestions for this event to make it better. This event should have been more time locked. So when you get into the incursion, the hammerhead should kind of come in groups, and the timer should be like 3, or I heard some folks suggest 5 minutes, because then that would give everybody in the server a little more time to get on grid and participate. But the fact that once you complete 5 of these things, you don't even see the invite anymore, the pop-up anymore, does help. Make the contracts a little simpler for everyone to get on, but it's a shame that it takes you some more time just because of the lack of a time gate or the lack of a regional area, because they are server wide, so that's Stanton wide, the invites go out. So it's not like, oh, I'm near Hurston, so I'm going to get invites near Hurston. Everyone gets them. All right, so I hope you have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate the holidays that are this weekend, like Easter, and to you and your families, I wish you all the best. And if you do not, I wish you a wonderful weekend.